So I've come out to the potato garden today to dig up the potatoes. As you can probably see here, there's a heck of a crop of weeds, and that's for two reasons. One was that we had a severe drought in the latter part of the summer, and to try and allow the potatoes to grow as much as possible, we decided to let the weeds overtop them and shade them a bit to prevent them from drying out so much. And then the second reason is simply that when you do have a drought like that, the weeds generally just take over more than the actual plant you're trying to grow. So, and we got busy in the summer, so you don't get ahead of the weeds so easily. Anyhow, these are mostly pigweeds and grasses, and I'm just going to be pulling them up, and then I can dig the rows of potatoes up with the pitchfork. So the pigweeds pull out pretty easily, but the grasses don't. So that's what takes most of the time. I also like to shake the earth off the roots of these things. I don't want to be taking soil out of our garden. I'm going to have a huge pile when this is done. Well, I'm getting there. It's about 70% done now after about probably 50 minutes or so. I'll keep going. I wanted to show this nightshade, which we get a lot of in the garden. Just wanted to show this huge root on this plant. It's over 3 feet long, and that's how a lot of the weeds can subsist in your garden when even some of the garden plants can't, because they can spread their roots very far to get moisture. When I pulled it up, I thought it was never going to end. So here's this section of garden now with most of the weeds pulled out. I've got several piles of weeds here that I have to remove and probably put into the compost. There's a couple there, one big one here, another one over there in front of the horse trailer. But there, anyhow, now you can see the earth and the ridges where the potatoes are. Now I just have to dig them out of here. I've already been an hour or more out here, probably an hour and a half, worn out. Now I gotta dig potatoes. Now I'm just taking these weeds over to the compost pile, and then I'll mix them in with the shovel of the tractor, and hopefully they'll rot fully enough to destroy any of the seeds in them this fall, that they can add a lot of organic matter to the compost. So here's one row of potatoes from our garden. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 more rows like this to go. So we're gonna have quite a big pile of potatoes, and this garden cart's about 3.5 by 5 feet long here. And here's the garden after it was weeded pretty completely. Now we're just going down the hills and pulling out the potatoes. 2 rows of potatoes, getting half a cart, or a third of a cart almost already. We're gonna have to contact the French fry makers to see if they want to buy some. Well, it's coming to the end of another long day here on the farm, and another hard day at work. It just rarely ends around here. There's always something to do, something to fix. So we got a third of the potatoes dug or so, and 4 or 5 more rows to go, but we're not gonna worry about that today. It's a good feeling to live off the land, at least to a degree these days. And it certainly is good exercise. Whether you're tilling the soil or planting crops or harvesting the crops, there's a lot of exercise involved. Weeding especially is a big one if you have a lot of weeds like we do. We're our own worst enemy though, because we usually can't keep ahead of them each year, or we don't keep ahead, and then they spread their seeds out, so then you're dealing with them the following year too. So anyhow, hope you've enjoyed this little potato digging outing, and I got to get back in to get some fresh potatoes for supper.